I've always loved trains. I'm never happier than when I'm tinkering away with my own train set up here in the attic. Signals, stations, sidings, old carriages, new carriages. It is the greatest fun. I'm Peter Slow, and this has been my passion ever since my dad bought me my first toy train when I was just 4 years old. I enjoy mixing different carriages from different eras, making my own unique train. Which got me thinking, what if I could do this for real? Well, me and my partner in crime, engineering whiz kid Henry Coe, we thought we'd get onto a mad idea. In order to delve into the history of the railways, we're going to restore 4 iconic carriages.
We're getting together a band of brilliant restoration experts from all around the country. Each group will bring back to life a carriage from a different era, from an 1860s four-wheeler to a 1960s Pullman dining car. We'll even restore a royal carriage and a teak monster designed by the man who made the Flying Scotsman.
I'll keep across each restoration. This is terrifying.
And I'll explore what it was like for the passengers who travelled in them.
It's so luxurious, you know, it is fit for a queen, isn't it?
We've challenged all our restorers to complete their work in 6 months, when we'll put the carriages together to create a real-life time train, representing 100 years of railway history. Isn't that a really beautiful sight? And the icing on the cake? I'm going to fulfill a childhood dream. I'm going to learn how to drive a steam locomotive. Can we go much, much faster?
No, just a little bit.
Oh, wonderful. So I can take our unique train on her first incredible journey. In the 19th century, the railways changed the face of Great Britain, laying the foundations of the modern world we live in today. The world of cities, industries, mass transport, and even seaside holidays. The Victorians embraced this vision, building a remarkable 5,000 miles of track in just 40 years. For our next restoration, we're going back to the boom time of that railway revolution, to an island where our railway heritage has been brilliantly preserved. Grab your buckets and spades, we're off on holiday. I'm puffing along on the Isle of Wight Steam Railway, which can trace its roots right back to the 1860s. We're here to restore a tiny carriage with a big history. 19th century railway mania brought 55 miles of track and 36 stations to the Isle of Wight. All this on a piece of land just 25 miles across. These foundations live on, preserved by the Isle of Wight Steam Railway. And here, at its Haven Street HQ, a unique carriage awaits restoration. A coach that will take us back almost to the dawn of the railway age. And I can't wait to see her. Oh, my goodness. We can't be serious. This thing's a total wreck. Blimey. And here she is, the forlorn remains of a small four-wheeled coach, purpose-built for the Isle of Wight Railway when it opened in 1864. 150 years ago, this was the last word in Victorian-era luxury rail travel. But in the 1920s, she was scrapped and converted into a holiday chalet. Rescued in the 1980s, she's been sitting on this temporary wagon at the Isle of Wight Steam Railway ever since. Now we want to restore her to her former glory as a carriage, back on the tracks where she belongs, once again taking holidaymakers up and down the Isle of Wight line. As restorations go, this one is going to be pretty tough. If anyone can realise our dream, it's two men who've dedicated their lives to steam heritage. Peter Jardine is a veteran of dozens of restorations.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
He'll look after the bits on top, the carriage and the interior fittings. While in charge of the bottom, the chassis, wheels and axles, is Mark Brinton. He's been working on the railway since he left school.
Yeah, if it doesn't fit, it's all my fault.
Henry Cole is working with Peter, cleaning up our little coach in the railway's own workshops. Oh, gracious. Henry, this is chaotic.
Well, I think organised chaos is the way to describe it.
Now, how would you describe the state of this coach?
Tired, very tired.
Tired. Now, what was this coach like 150-odd years ago?
Originally, it was a composite coach. It had first class and second. You're standing in the first class compartment. There was a second class piece up that end and a second class compartment over the other side here.
Quite posh first class? What was it like?
It would have been very nice. It would have been deep blue cloth buttoned armchairs, armrests, headrests, carpet.
And you think you can do all this within 6 months?
Yes.
I just don't believe you.
I
It's
think he
tight, but we
can.
do it.
But I think the key, Peter, is that the actual structure, the frame is solid, isn't
The
it?
frame is sound, yes.
Anyway, show us the second class.
By all means. Yep, mind the floor,
Yeah.
there isn't one.
Right.
You can go first then, Peter.
I do.
My goodness, there really is no floor. You weren't joking, Peter.
Nope.
So what's this?
This is a second class compartment. There obviously wasn't a door there, it was a partition.
Yes.
You had five-a-side seating on padded benches. That was your lot.
It may be second class with some beautiful little blue windows up there.
The blue windows, yes, they're a feature of this sort of stock. They go throughout the whole train. including
Are they all
the first.
complete?
No, a lot of those are damaged and we'll have to replace those.
And can you get those remade?
We will have to get those done, yes.
It's gracious me. This truly is an ambitious project. But if the team can pull it off, it'll be more than worth it. The plush original interior of the first class compartment will be recreated with rich blue lavishly upholstered seats, wallpaper instead of peeling paint, and soft carpets underfoot. In second class, there'll be new leather benches and the blue glass top lights will be repaired. Most of the exterior wood cladding will be replaced, giving a highly varnished teak finish. The biggest challenge will be the underframe, the chassis to which the wheels are attached. This will be made from scratch, of wood, not steel, and result in the only fully wooden standard gauge coach still running on the railways anywhere in Britain.
The reason why our carriage has been preserved for over 150 years is for the same reason that the railways came to the island in the first place. For seaside holidays and buckets and spades.
It was the railways that brought holidays to the masses. And here on the Isle of Wight, Queen Victoria set the trend. She regularly took the train from Windsor to travel to her holiday pad here, Osborne House. Once she gave the island the royal seal of approval, everybody wanted to come.
Many took the morning train from London and then hopped on the steamer from Portsmouth to arrive here at Ryde Pier Head, the only mainline station to be built on a pier. And it's still running today.
Most holidaymakers headed for the posh hotels that were being built in resorts like Shankling and Ventnor. And there's no denying that the people who puffed along in our little coach had a bob or two to spend. But the holiday trade here was a microcosm of a revolution that changed the lives not just of the well-to-do, but of the working classes too. A revolution in leisure travel for the masses. Holidays for the likes of you and me got a boost in 1841 when a certain Thomas Cook chartered a passenger train to take 500 people on a day trip from Leicester to Loughborough. The 24-mile jaunt cost just £1, It was a huge success and inspired Thomas Cook to put on regular, cheap excursion trains. By the 1860s, the railways had created a tourism boom, with towns like Blackpool catering for millions of working-class people enjoying holidays for the very first time in their lives. It might have played a small part in this great revolution, but our little carriage is a lasting link to the very dawn of the leisure age.
Oh, it's nailed up here somewhere. Yeah, right in the middle there.
In the workshop at Haven Street Station, Peter Jardine and his team are hard at work, bringing our carriage back to life to carry 21st century tourists. Having been outdoors for 90 years, much of the cladding is rotten, and Peter has to assess what can be saved.
There's nothing wrong with the teak pillar at all there. The main problem is going to be getting the steel bolts out of it, which are very heavily corroded, and we stand a good chance of just shearing the heads off. So we may end up having to drill those out and then plug the holes again. There's a big build-up of scale underneath it there. You've got to clean all that lot out and get that joint back down again tight. And this end here, that corner's just gone. Again, the main pillar's pretty good. It wants a little work on this side, but it's pretty good. But the main timber's rotten and split across this whole end, so we're going to have to put a whole new section in across this area to replace that.
With no plans to work from, everything has to be documented before it's pulled apart.
I mean, all of this has been photographed before we start, so we know exactly what's where, and measurements for where everything's got to go back.
Most simply falls off, but the doors prove a bit sticky.
The last time the doors were opened was probably about 1920, when it was first grounded as a chalet. The carriage lock's jammed down, so we're having to knock the hinge pins out of the door and then knock the door open from the hinge side so we can release the locks. That's moving.
This calls for a lesson in the less delicate skills of railway restoration.
You probably want a bigger hammer on that.
Come on, boys, you've only got 6 months.
That's it. Right, gently now.
Well done.
Looks like someone's nailed this one shut, which is nice of them. That's it. Yep, there's the nail. Right, it's the first time open for 90 years then.
But getting the door off is only the first step. Next, it's got to be restored, and that's where the hard work kicks in. Luckily, there's a host of train-mad volunteers willing to give up their evenings and weekends to lend a hand. Hard to imagine now, but in just 4 months' time, this sorry little holiday carriage needs to hit the heights of Victorian first-class luxury travel. It's a monumental challenge. It's summer on the Isle of Wight, a quintessentially British holiday island welcoming almost 2.5 million visitors every year. The steam railway is one of its most popular tourist attractions. It's a place to indulge your love of trains and immerse yourself in the romance and nostalgia of the steam age. Over in the carriage works, the team is 6 weeks into restoring our 1864 carriage. No holiday for them. They've been working long hours, and I'm dying to see the progress they've made. Oh, dear me. Peter, I hate to say this, but honestly, this coach looks worse than it did before. No roof, no windows, no doors, no nothing almost.
Well, that's right. We've taken all the junk off it now and stripped it back to the good bits, and now we're working through sorting those out.
What have you managed to save for reuse?
About 60–70% of it's original still. The main timbers and so on are good, though we've refaced them. A lot of this framework's sound. But again, there's localised repairs everywhere.
That's amazing. I mean, the detailed work you've done here. I mean, you can see how terrible it was, and yet look at the facing you've done here. It's absolutely brilliant, isn't it? So what happens next?
Next job, we're replacing the roof hoops, which are being made at the moment, and then we can put the original roof back up on it and take it from there.
I wish you luck, Peter.
Thank you.
This modest carriage may not look much, but it represents the start of a mode of transport we now take for granted. This timetable shows the very route our little carriage took. Thanks to Queen Victoria, train travel in the 1860s felt new and exciting. First-class passengers paid 2 and 6 for a return from Ryde Pier to Shanklin, a shilling more than those in second class. There was a real romance to train travel back then that Peter and his team have to recreate, especially here in what should be the luxurious first-class compartment. It's nostalgia for those times that makes the Isle of Wight Steam Railway such a success. It's been a working heritage line since 1971, and most of the people keeping these trains chuffing the lines are enthusiastic volunteers. Today, 12 locomotives run on 5 miles of track, stopping at 4 immaculately preserved stations along the way. But back in the 1960s, the end of the steam age meant the island's mainline railway was facing oblivion. Lines were being torn up, carriages burnt, and locos scrapped. What survives today owes its entire existence to the efforts of a determined gang of teenage train spotters, desperate to salvage whatever they could. They fundraised like mad and got enough to buy this locomotive and save a section of track. Word got out, more enthusiasts got involved, and the Isle of Wight Steam Railway was born.
This was the original locomotive.
Yes,
and,
yes.
That's where we started.
Nearly 50 years on, the original loco's still a star attraction. And this lad in the glasses, Ian Whitlam, is still heavily involved in the railway.
We were 16 at the time, started raising funds, and we bought the locomotive.
How much?
I think it was about some £950, which was more than scrap price at the time, but nowadays you'd be talking more like sort of $250,000.
Blimey. If you hadn't done it, the thing would have been scrapped.
It would have been scrapped in situ, yes.
Today, the Isle of Wight Steam Railway welcomes over 100,000 visitors every year. And now our little four-wheeler is being restored to run on these lines again for the first time in nearly 100 years. To please all those train-mad tourists, every last detail must be perfect. The next challenge is to recreate one of the carriage's most distinctive and luxurious Victorian features. There are 12 of these ornate glass window lights in all. The fashionable Victorian fleur-de-lis design is etched into the glass, not just stuck on. And they're only found in this type of coach, of which ours is one of the last surviving examples. But workshops able to craft exact replicas of the 19th century glass don't grow on trees, which is why our windows are being recreated 275 miles north in Liverpool by specialist glass engraver Ron Kett.
We've never done a glass for a train before, so we do get some really unusual jobs, like, you know what I mean, and an important part for us is to make people realise, show people around, that can do work like this, like, you know, and it hasn't got to be ripped out and thrown away, like, sort of, it's got to be restored.
Stained glass was making a comeback in the Victorian era, and this royal blue colour was all the rage. The original design is copied exactly, printed, then stuck on the glass. A precision-guided sandblaster then etches out the design. Voila! A brand new panel. But like the old one in every detail.
Because it has been done by hand, all the shapes and whatever that were in the original, like, sort of glass, we copied over, even the mistakes.
Despite our restorers spending dozens of man-hours so far, the carriage is nowhere near ready to fit the window glass. At the moment, the body rests on a rusty old wagon frame, but it's not the original. Designing and building an entirely new underframe is Mark's only option. And to accurately recreate our four-wheeler's relatively primitive technology, Mark needs to make it not of metal, but wood.
It's a challenge because nobody's built a four-wheel carriage underframe in wood for a great many years. Certainly not in my experience. I'm more used to dealing with metal underframes.
21 feet long and 9 feet wide, the frame will be built out of solid oak. Onto this will be bolted two sprung axles to which the four wheels are attached, as are the buffers which run right through the frame to cushion any impacts. When it finally rattles along the Isle of Wight line, our completed four-wheeler will be almost entirely wooden. In the early days of the railways, that was the norm, but it poses some problems for our restorers. Henry's been putting it to the test.
As a construction material, wood does have a few problems. It can warp, or like this bit, rot. It does have another problem as well, and that is that wood is strong, but not that strong. You don't want that happening to a coachload of passengers. To get round the problem, the Isle of Wight team have decided to use engineered wood. This stuff looks like solid wood, but actually it's lots of pieces of wood all glued together. It doesn't warp, and it's a huge amount stronger. Now that's impressive.
Back in the workshop, that engineered wood is being delivered in giant flat packs. It's a big day for Mark and the team.
Good so far.
Holes nicely drilled.
Relief to receive these parts at long last. Hopefully it'll save us a lot of time here when normally we would have to cut all these holes and drill, shape all the parts.
I've never been any good at assembling anything in a flat pack. Let's hope Mark is. Read the instructions.
Yeah, if it doesn't fit, it's all my fault.
Getting it to fit means the restorer's old mate, the hammer, is deployed.
Go on then, quality hammering. We need to make sure that this underframe is square and level, because if it isn't, then the wheels sit at angles to one another, then potentially the vehicle will either give a very bad ride or ultimately could come off the track.
I conveniently timed my arrival for when the hard work was over.
Are you chuffed with it?
Yeah, I'm very pleased with the way it's gone together. Pieces arrived exactly as we wanted. We've had to do no adjustments or anything like that.
So you got the measurements right?
Yep.
Is there any one thing that you're still worried about?
I'm a little bit concerned that whether the buffers will fit, because we've got long buffer rods that go half the length of the vehicle, and we've got them bearing on in three places. Now, they've got to be perfectly in line to allow the buffers to slide nicely.
Otherwise they'll chafe.
They'll stick.
Yes. Stick is the right word.
Summer is almost over, but still the steam trains puff back and forth on the Isle of Wight, filled with the last of the holidaymakers. We're now more than halfway through our restoration schedule, painstakingly bringing back to life a historical treasure that once carried our Victorian ancestors along the island's lines. This is a real labour of love for Mark and Peter. The teak panelling is starting to be replaced, hinting at the quality of finish to come. With the new beams on, she'll soon have a roof. Not only is Peter a woodworking wizard, he's laying the foundations for richly upholstered seats, the kind a Victorian first-class passenger would have expected.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
This team is achieving something truly wonderful. Without their efforts, this rare piece of railway history would be lost forever. We're making restoration history, bringing back to life 4 of the most iconic railway carriages that ever ran, to create a lasting legacy back on the tracks for any of us to travel on. In Yorkshire, Birmingham, North Wales, and on the Isle of Wight, teams of heritage specialists are working round the clock to restore these neglected wrecks to be part of our unique time train.
Mate, she's fantastic.
Isn't she beautiful? Here on the Isle of Wight is one of the oldest surviving carriages in the world.
Gracious.
A tiny coach with a huge place in railway history. Built in 1864, she's from the heyday of Queen Victoria's railway revolution, puffing along the newly built tracks that crisscross the young Queen's favourite holiday island. Peter Jardine and a band of volunteers have been working flat out, stripping away a century of rot and decay.
And this has been sat in a hedge for the last 90-odd years, so nobody's looked after it.
And now they're starting on the interior finish.
Slow and steady as it is. You can't rush it. If you rush it, you mess it up.
5 months in, I've come back to see the fruits of their labour. Oh, my goodness. Peter, this is a transformation. I mean, well, last time I was here, this was spidery frame, but none of this beautiful wood shining at me now. Well done.
Coming together now, a little way to go yet, though. We've done all the heavy work.
Not much time, though.
There isn't much time at all, no.
Seems like quite a bit of work to do yet.
There's a lot of work to do yet, yes.
Right, I'm going to grab a ladder and come and join you.
Yep, by all means.
Extraordinary to see it almost finished like this.
Yes, it's getting it.
Mess. I don't mean to be rude, but the mess it was when I last saw it. Inside, there are even seats. And the beautifully restored blue glass panels are almost all fitted. As a treat, Peter's saved one of the last ones for me. Now, Peter, this is a beautiful piece of glass panel here. Now, what do we call this?
This is a top light.
It's a top light to go in up here.
Right, yes.
And it's beautifully done. This is a reproduction. The originals were hopelessly damaged, weren't they?
That's right. We didn't have a full set of the originals, and the originals weren't toughened glass, which they need to be for modern purposes.
Should we stick it in place?
Yep, by all means.
I've got my mastic here.
That's it.
Here we go. Mastic on. All right. Oh, that's it. Right, Peter, all ready for you. I think I've got the mastic all round.
Need to go up this edge as well.
Yeah, OK. Here it goes.
That needs to go in.
Beautiful. Fits like a glove.
Yeah.
What a lovely sight that makes, that beautiful royal blue glass and the wood surround. It's going to be the best top light of the whole lot. To finish off, I'm adding the beading.
Right, these are some of the bits of trim which hold the glass in now.
For me, these little touches evoke the romance of the first great era of the railways. Fits well. That's good. Look at that. There's no rest for Peter, though. He's straight on to yet another highly skilled job. Peter, you're sewing all of this by hand. You can't do it with a machine.
Not round the edges like this, no, because it's deep pleated cushions. We've got a lot of folded edges and changes in thicknesses all the time.
It takes a long time, won't it, to do this whole cushion?
It does, yes. It takes about a day to do a cushion.
And you did all these buttons and everything yourself?
That's right, yes.
Is there anything you can't do? I mean, you've done this, whole coach here. You're a metal worker as well?
Actually, I'm a qualified mechanical engineer. That was my job.
Oh, yes, of course. Extraordinary. In the first-class section of our carriage, this craftsmanship is all about passenger comfort, creating a sort of cosy parlour to ride in. Our carriage really is well on the way to being back to her original best. But let's not forget that for 60 years of her life, she looked nothing like a railway carriage at all. Henry's been investigating the craze for converting these old carriages into something altogether different.
Once she'd been retired from service on the railways in the 1920s, our carriage was converted into a holiday home. Here she is, nestled at the bottom of a garden in Bembridge, on the east of the island. It was what happened to many carriages built in the 1860s when they reached the end of their working life. The island's hotels might have been booked up by society's first-class passengers,
But those with a more bohemian vibe had different ideas. They wanted something like this, a carriage converted to a holiday home. Well, it's not exactly Osborne House, but have a look. There's a nice kitchen diner, and through here, lovely double bedroom with ensuite facilities. What more do you want, Your Majesty?
the trend caught on, not just on the island, but across Britain.
And if you couldn't afford to buy a carriage, you could always rent one off the railways themselves.
From the 1920s, converted carriages were transported by the railways to beauty spots located in sidings on quiet branch lines. They rented them out by the week.
This is a British Rail brochure from 1958 showing the location of the carriages and the prices. For a family of 4, it was 10 quid a week, plus the cost of the return ticket. What a great idea.
I'm heading down the main line towards Shanklin to visit a rather special fan of these holiday carriages.
But I'm hopping off halfway to meet a lady called Sarah Vernon. Now, Sarah used to holiday in our carriage when she was a child.
She's lived on the island all her life.
Sarah?
Hello.
Henry, how are you?
Hello.
Lovely to see you. Now, Sarah, you have a special relationship, don't you, with our carriage?
Well, it was our staple summer holiday. That's when we came every year. It belonged to my grandmother, because she'd bought a house with a garden, huge garden, and an overgrown orchard, and the carriage was right at the bottom. We actually had the Enid Blyton holiday of our dreams, really, you know, making caves in the undergrowth of the orchard and so near to the sea where we were. It was fantastic. It was a joy. Absolute joy.
And have you got any pickies? What are
Oh,
these?
I've got
Show
a
me
few.
these. Look at that. Now, talk to me, because that looks nothing like the carriage now. I mean, it looks like a house. I'd never really recognise it.
No, I think my father put the awning up. But otherwise, I mean, it did look. It was very obvious to us that it was a carriage with these windows and that special kind of clunk of the old trains when you open and close the door.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes.
Oh, my word. So when you were holidaying, could you ever imagine it returning to being a carriage on the rails?
No, absolutely not, no. My parents donated it to the Steam Railway Society and thought, well, you know, they might sort of keep it as one of their showpieces, because it had started to fall apart, but never in a million years.
Well, we might just have a little surprise for you.
We've invited Sarah to join us on board when we take our old holiday home out on the tracks for the first time. And we're almost ready. The finishing touches are being added to Mark's spectacular underframe.
Yep, it's looking good. And bingo.
And Peter's gearing up for the biggest day in the restoration so far, joining this to this.
Worst case scenario, of course, it ends up on the floor.
It all means the end is in sight, so I'd better crack on with my own preparations. Once all 4 of our carriages are restored, we'll put them together for one very special journey, creating a bespoke time train. 100 years of railway history pulled by a locomotive driven by me. This is my second lesson, learning to be a fully trained-up driver. Here she goes. So far, I've been taught how to light the fire and cook my breakfast. Just a couple of eggs on the shovel and Bob's your uncle. Now I'm moving on to the next stage of the process, the job of fireman, keeping the fire and the steam going while on the move. Nigel, I feel as if I've shoveled about a ton of coal so far. Have I not done enough?
No, only about half a ton if you're lucky.
Oh, look, that's roaring up. Now, Nigel, I've done all the shoveling of the coal as a farmer. That's all I have to do, is it?
No, there's far more than just firing the locomotive. You've got to make sure that the water in the boiler is at a good level, and when it isn't, you've got to feed water in through the injector. If you'd like to put some water in now.
Oh, OK. Now I'm injecting cold water from the tank into the boiler to produce more steam. It's a lot more technical for these guys, but for me, it's a lot of fun. Right, have we done that correctly, roughly?
Another inch or so on the water valve towards the driver.
Water is open, then?
Yeah, that's it, is open, yes. A little bit more.
Oh, more open?
Yes, more open. About an inch or so. That's it.
Out there. And what does that mean for this gauge here? What does that mean?
So that's the held pressure inside the boiler barrel.
Ah, right. And 120 is OK, but you like a bit more?
120 is OK.
And if he goes up past 160 odd, what's that mean? There's a red line there. Is it now time to jump off the train?
No, because we have the safety valves, which will stop the pressure going any higher.
As a fireman, I need to keep an eye on the gauge to stop the pressure going up too high. But the pressure's good at the moment, so I can sit back. Can I look at the view?
Yes, please do.
Oh, beautiful. Wonderful. He says whistle out there. Shall I whistle? Here we go. Wonderful. What a treat. What an inferno there is in there. Just look at that. And that's all my hard work.
That certainly is all your hard work.
Well, it certainly feels like it's been hard work anyway. I tell you. Well, I've only been at this an hour, and I'm knackered. On an average day, I'd have been shoveling half a ton of coal altogether. Tough work. But it'll all be worth it when I'm a fully qualified driver in charge of our magnificent time train. Woo-hoo! Autumn has come to the Isle of Wight. The summer tourists have left, and the 6 months is almost up for our historic carriage restoration, rebuilding the only Victorian wooden coach running on the railways in Britain. But there's one final challenge, and it's a big one. They need to marry the carriage body to the new underframe.
It's a big moment. It's the first time this has actually been put onto the chassis proper.
It means lifting 2.5 tons.
Right, we're ready for the lift. Once the thing's up, nobody goes underneath the load. If it moves, just get out of the way. Start lifting.
It is a big day today because we'll see whether the body fits on the underframe.
OK, right. So we're lifting the body off the chassis it's on now. Take them up steady, and we'll wheel that chassis out the way, bring the correct one in under it, and then put it down onto that frame. OK, that's good and solid, yeah. Your side all right? Lift it about another ½ inch. There's always a risk when you're doing this sort of work that the body might move enough to damage it or break a window or something. OK, ready, you're up? Worst case scenario, of course, it ends up on the floor. Are we all happy? All ready? OK, start pushing gently. Push. One. That'll do. All happy? OK, chocks under. Lower gently now. Solid this side, Pete.
I'm relieved it actually fits because until you actually put them two together like this, you're never quite sure.
Yeah, we can relax and have a cup of tea now.
It's a triumph for the team. Now it's just a case of ticking off those very last jobs on a 6-month-long to-do list. Only a few days to go now before our little Victorian coach is unveiled to an expectant public. It's taken the team over 130 days, some of them very long ones, to get her back on the rails again. It's finally time for the finishing touches. Our first and second class transfers and red paint on the trim. They're lubricating the axles using pads soaked in oil. And there's time for a final bit of spit and polish. You can see it's more than just a job for this dedicated team. The care and attention to detail going into this little carriage is truly inspiring.
My goodness me.
And I've come to offer my congratulations.
Peter, unbelievable. You've finished.
Almost. It's not far off now. There's a few finishing off jobs to do.
I think you've wheeled in a completely new coach. That's what you've done. This is not the old coach we saw.
It is, I'm afraid, yep.
Amazing. Can I come in?
Lock your feet first.
Oh, OK. Wipe your
Log
boots.
on the floor.
Yes. Absolutely amazing sight this is. I mean, really and truly breathtaking. I mean, this is unbelievable. Was it a very close shave?
It was close, yes. Very tight.
What was the most difficult bit?
Seating certainly was a great deal of work.
But it's beautiful. Beautiful. Can we take her outside now?
Yep, ready to go.
This is going to be even more exciting.
The big moment has arrived. 6 months of incredible restoration work, and now, for the first time in nearly 100 years, our gleaming carriage is back on the tracks where she belongs. Glorious.
She runs so beautifully, Mark.
Thank you.
Oh, my goodness me, she does look absolutely wonderful.
Barely 6 months ago, this carriage was a total wreck. But now, look at her. Her first-class compartment oozes luxury, truly reminiscent of its Victorian heyday. Second class not only has a floor, but seats too. And there's beautiful period detail here, especially in those meticulously crafted top lights. And the outside is just as stunning.
I mean, look at this work here, it's just beautiful. How is this crest done?
That's done as a transfer by the company that made them in 1864, strangely enough.
Beautiful. And this lovely little red frame around the first-class sign here, that's obviously authentic.
Oh, yes, that's copied from the original.
Beautifully done. Well, now, Mark, let's have a look at the underframe. This is a real work of art, isn't it?
Yes.
The engineering under here is just as impressive as the finish on the carriage above. But there's one thing I can't see: brakes.
That's correct. In 1964, when she was built, she had no brakes.
So what are we going to do about this being run on the railway?
For now, we will put it within a train that has brakes.
OK, well, let's hook her up and take her out then.
Let's go.
Great.
It was way back in 1864 when this tiny carriage was first part of a train.
Coupled up for the first time. Wonderful, Mark. Wonderful.
Her long and rich history has seen her carry Victorian holidaymakers back and forth to the seaside resorts of the Isle of Wight. She's been scrapped, converted into a holiday chalet, and now she's come full circle. To celebrate her wonderful rebirth, she'll be pulled by a steam loco from the same era. And Ian Whitlam, the man whose dedication helped to save the Isle of Wight Railway, is here to do the honours. And for this special journey, a very special passenger.
I think I can hear her. Oh, here she comes now. 90 years since it's been on the track. Now, are you excited or what?
Well, of course, I'm over the moon. I can't believe it's actually happening.
Here's Peter as well.
Fantastic.
Hey!
Sarah! How lovely.
Mr. Snow, how lovely to see you.
Now, what do you reckon?
It's just amazing. I wish I could think of a better word. It's extraordinary. The handles, the glass, I absolutely love.
This is amazing, isn't it?
Well, it's a summer house on wheels now.
Should we go for a spin? Yeah, let's go off for a
Come
ride.
on, then.
Oh, that would be
Come on, Sam.
fantastic. That would be fabulous.
Sarah, do you recognise your summer house?
Well, in a strange way, yes. I mean, even though obviously all the work has been done, which is amazing, but yes, I mean, I really am overwhelmed. It's glorious. I wish my parents could see this. I really do.
Absolutely.
Peter, your first trip in this wonderful carriage. How are you feeling?
Yeah, very good. Yes, it's what we've been working towards.
Are you thrilled?
Yeah.
Mark, you're looking far too comfortable over there.
Yes, it's a very good ride.
Very comfortable.
I'm feeling very proud of it. It's a culmination of 6 months' hard work.
I must say, Peter and Mark have done an extraordinary job. I love the elegance and the craftsmanship of their restoration. And with their completion, I think I'm just a step closer to the dream I have of coupling together a time train of iconic coaches. Next time, we jump forward 100 years to celebrate one of the greatest names of the 20th century, Pullman. This is the golden age of the train. Not just a proper cream tea, but a beautiful dining car to eat in. We're restoring a 1960s dining car, rediscovering a lost world of luxury and elegance. It's a huge challenge. Well, this is the kitchen. This is chaos. And it will require a touch of magic to pull it off.